I have what the MSM is saying about Q. They've been harassing President Trump about it. Presidential harassment, right? Even while they push destructive racism and sexism lies, which have resulted in way more senseless violence than Q has. But Q has resulted in some stuff, according to them. This is the end of Hour 1. It's Friday, October 16th, 2020. I am James Hake with Hake News, not fake news, 6:55 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Stay tuned for Hour 2 of Jesse Lee Peterson. QAnon explained authoritatively, although I have only second-hand sources or third-hand. Extreme left female-run anti-Trump outlet The Skim reports that social media companies are cracking down on QAnon, what the extreme left describes as a far-right conspiracy theory group that supposedly emerged on internet message boards shortly after President Trump was elected, meaning like October 2017. The group believes, supposedly with zero basis, except perhaps Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and others, that Democrats, celebrities, and other high-profile figures are part of a cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles, and that they run a global child sex trafficking ring. Among the accused, Hillary Clinton, Tom Hanks, the actor who supported Obama, Pope Francis, the socialist beta pope who's ticked, Oprah Winfrey, who was told to be beaten, Ellen DeGeneres, and perhaps Joe Biden, and many more. QAnon supporters also believe that President Trump is waging a war against this cabal, also supposedly referred to as the deep state. But does the Skim know what they're talking about with that? I thought the deep state was just the unelected bureaucrats, but whatever. It all started when an anonymous user known only by the name Q posted cryptic messages on 4chan, which is what the Skim claims is now a destroyed message board, although I was able to pull it up, 4chan, just this morning, alleging the existence of this cabal. Q claimed to be a high-ranking government official with a Q clearance access to top-secret information. And things spiraled out of control, they say. QAnon supporters now believe that an array of unproven theories that Bill Gates is using coronavirus so that he can inject people with a microchip hidden inside of a vaccine. And that cabal is made up of Democrats who drink children's blood, and they will all be arrested and punished during an event called The Storm, led by Trump. What's the harm? What's the harm? I'll tell you what's the harm. Wikipedia says in 2019, the far left FBI has determined that Q is a potential source of domestic terrorism. Potential. The first time the agency had raided that fringe conspiracy theory group. During the pandemic, their baseless content had exploded online. In just the last 4 months, membership of QAnon groups on Facebook reportedly rose 700%. They now have millions of members. And it's not just happening online. Some QAnon believers have shown up at Trump rallies donning Q merch, but they're not always harmless. Some have been linked to violent incidents, like Pizzagate, supposedly, even though that predates it by more than a year. In 2016, when a guy shot at the floor of a homosexual-run Comet Pizza in D.C. Some believe Pizzagate was a precursor to QAnon, as well as things like trespassing, armed standoffs, and even alleged murder. A 24-year-old young male killed a reputed mob boss from the Gambino family in March of 2019 in a botched alleged citizen's arrest. This young man had also attempted to citizen's arrest Bill de Blasio, the mayor of New York City. And his lawyer claimed he was under a Q delusion, and he flashed the Q on his hand, along with MAGA and other things, written in blue ink, in court in March 2019. Despite all this, they're getting some high-profile support, says The Skim, the female-run outlet. Some estimates say over a dozen 2020 candidates are QAnon believers, including Georgia Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene, a lady. In August, she won the primary runoff in Georgia's 14th congressional district and is likely to win in November. The president congratulated her on her primary win. And yesterday, NBC's Savannah Guthrie was pressing Trump on it. Meanwhile, she believes in racism. Sucker. I'm James Hake.